exhibition came about very much out of a real interest in the work of these three artists. We were intrigued by what we felt was something very different going on in their approach to object making, in a certain irreverence to materials.
We were really interested in what those works would do when brought together. It seemed like there was some kind of commonality about object making, about sculptural practice, about particular use of materials and intriguing and interesting materials, perhaps not very obvious art materials. It's fair to say the show very much came out of the work rather than the other way around.
It was a question of having absolute faith in the artists and a sense that there were correspondences between them, but not to be entirely certain what the result would be, but to see how that bringing together of the works illuminates their practices individually and maybe collectively. There are over 20 works in the exhibition overall, but 8 of those are actually works that are in the Arts Council collection. We were able to buy 6 photographic works by Becky Beasley last year, as well as the beautiful sculpture by Barclay that includes tapestry woven at the Dovecote Studios in Edinburgh. The works by Becky Beasley and by Barclay, this is the first time that we've shown them since we purchased them, so that's really very exciting.
There's always 2 key factors in making any exhibition, and they're really pertinent here. One is the space and the other is the artists, and we've got this glorious space here at Longside with the natural, beautiful, extraordinary landscape beyond the gallery window, and that played a big part in thinking about how the exhibition might come together, how we might pull these 3 quite disparate artists in many respects together in one place and one space.
It's quite challenging. It will be difficult for some visitors, I imagine, to look at this work in the context of sculpture. It will feel very, very different to come into a space where there is suspended paper and fields of plaster dust and photography. But I think once you start to interrogate the work more deeply, there are shared concerns in terms of object making, in terms of response to landscape.
All of the artists have a very particular and strong interest in really kind of tuning their work to a space in any given exhibition context. Although artworks may be autonomous objects that can be taken from one place to another, the exact way that they're positioned and shown in connection with other pieces in a particular space will change. And all 3 of the artists as part of this exhibition have been really interested in doing that, to the extent that we have Barclay working directly with the gallery window and Karla working on a new piece on the floor. So it's been very much a marriage, if you like, between the space and the artists.
All 3 artists have all been purchased by the collection in the last 2 years. Karla's work 2 years ago, and Becky Beasley and Barclay's work in this exhibition only within the last 12 months. It fits with an overarching ambition that we always have to show works very, very quickly after we've purchased them, because we are trying very hard to be promoting younger artists around the country and showing their practice while it's still at its most critically relevant in relation to what's happening more broadly in the country. The exhibition's going to go to Bristol, to Spike Island and to the New Art Gallery in Walsall.
I think it's going to be really fascinating to see how the show changes in each situation, precisely because of this ability for the works to nestle into new configurations in every space.
The artists are going to help us by remaking site-specific works in those galleries, and so the exhibition will take on a different character, a different flavour in response to the 2 further venues of the exhibition.
They'll adapt themselves really well through the artists' participation into different contexts, different types of environment, and that'll be a fascinating journey for it, I think.
It makes it special to place, which I think is one of the great strengths of the exhibition and the opportunity that's offered by working with these 3 artists in this way.
I think the most exhilarating thing in looking at it coming together is the realisation of just how important to the artist those material surfaces are. You know, for an artist like Becky Beasley, who works a lot with photography, the very surface of the image is so important to her, the kind of glazing that happens in front of it. All those surfaces and materials that come together, even in the 2-dimensional work, are really vital components of the play of the work.